Hey, my name is Michael Meshak. Welcome to MMD TV. Michelle Memon documentary is established to propagate stories of excellent students, stories that inspire you to become better. Subscribe, comment, and like. Tell other persons that you feel will be inspired by these stories to also come and watch. Thank you. Welcome. I love you.
So after my 100 level, I sought to improve on ways to improve myself academically, most importantly. And because I'm all about growth, I'm all about growing. That was the mentality I took as I was entering each level. I always wanted to do better than I did previously. So it wasn't easy. 200 level came, the focus was still there, the fire was there, and kept on reading. This time around it was I and Idara. So we kept on pushing each other. And just like that, we scaled through 200 level. It wasn't easy because at every point in the pharma, at every level in event pharmacy, you realize that there's something new you have to face. There is something different from the other level, from steeplechase in physiology to practicals to answering questions in biochemistry to pharmacognosy, dealing with the botanical name of so many plants and even scientific names and what have you. So from there till you get to pharmacology, we do pharmacology in 300 level, studying and adapting to mechanism of action. But like I said, God has given everybody the power to adapt. So when the challenges came, the only way to face fears, the only way, to overcome fear is to face them. And you're only scared of what you've not done, and that's just the truth. Something you have done, you've conquered it, you won't be scared of it. And so that was how I faced. Moving through each level, I learned to face my fears and face them head on. And so each time I had a weakness, anytime I see a course and I'm like, okay, this is not my kind of, I am not so, this course won't be so easy for me. That's the course I gave the most of my attention. And that was how we moved on. But I think I was particular as a person. I mean, what kind of a person will you be if your success, other people can't identify with it? In other words, if you claim to be successful, there should be people around you should also be able to, speak of the same success, maybe not at the same level. And so I had Idara as a friend, and it was one of the things we fought together for, we struggled for, was the fact that she also sees her results, and she also feels like, yes, her effort is also paying off. And so it wasn't easy for either of us, because sometimes it wasn't easy because we worked hard, and more often than not it looked as though I was doing well and she wasn't getting the results she wanted. And so it was a battle we had to keep fighting, and I had to tell her to be strong. And there's one thing I know pharmacy school builds in everybody is the ability to not give up, to be resilient, consistency. It builds. Pharmacy school subconsciously gives you that trait. You acquire it through pharmacy school, and it was like that. Honestly. I remember one occasion somewhere in our 400 level, after giving it our all, reading together. That was 400 first semester, and then her results came out and it wasn't good. And like I said, I am all about growth should be holistic. And if I am successful, you should be able to measure my level of success by looking at my friends. So if my friends are successful, then I'm making an impact. And so it was a problem for me that she had issues with 2 or 3 of her courses, usually pharmaceutical chemistry. In pharmaceutical chemistry, in fact, made her suffer a great deal. But in the end, like I said, there is no magic. It's just consistency. I was always talking to her, and even sometimes when result comes out, I wasn't happy, not because I didn't do well, but my friend is not doing well. So come on, what could have been the issue? So I was just always there trying to help her. I remember one time I had to speak to her tell her to face the facts. Yeah, I'm a realist, so I don't know how to sugarcoat matters. So I told her, this is how it is. And some other persons who don't know me will get offended, but there's a way I try to motivate people. I try to come out playing with them, tell them the truth, tell them you're not putting so much effort. And then I told her, you have problems with drawing bonds. The only way you can get, because then heterocyclic chemistry in 300 level was also giving her issues. I think she had an issue with that course. So I told her, the only way, I think you are not so bad in chemistry, but the problem is drawing those bonds and structures. And so I identified that problem, and I always told her. So we started learning, okay, draw the structure without looking at the material. So it wasn't a venture that paid off immediately. It was more of delayed gratification. And with time, she overcame all these challenges. So that's why I believe in growing and carrying other persons along. And part of my story, there were other persons I was always willing to help those I could help academically, because come on, what will you gain if you know and you hold your knowledge and it doesn't make any sense. So I was always ready to help people, to motivate people to achieve their academic goals. Yes, and so that was it. So it was never easy. The journey, there were ups and downs. 300 level for me was the lowest point of my academic, journey. Yes. The 300 level, my first semester result came out, I had about 5 A's, 4 B's. And now, that's okay, it's not bad, that's a good result. But following my antecedents, I felt like I performed badly. And then I knew what was happening. I was in a relationship. Between, let's say, 200 and 300 level. But perhaps in 200 level, because then she was in JUPEB, kind of, so I had all the time in this world to read and do my stuff before she comes back. But I think in 300 level now, she gained admission proper into Uniben, and I had to be a boyfriend and be a pharmacist. And that's why trust me when I say pharmacy is a jealous lover. And so for someone like me who has goals, and I like aiming for the stars, for instance, it affected me. Maybe I didn't know how to do the two together. I've seen many people succeed with relationships and pharmacy school. Mind you, I was also succeeding anyway at that point in time, but success is relative. So by the time I looked back at my 100 and 200 level, I realized that 300 level, I was going below my standard, and I had a lot of emotional issues from the relationship, but that's on the light side. And then second semester 300 level, the worst happened. I missed an exam, and that happened to be my first carryover in pharmacy school. I would never forget that day in a hurry. I just did not know how I was carrying a wrong time, but be it as it may, I missed that exam, and it was during exam period. I just had to be strong. It takes a lot of mentality, because I think I was reading, the day I missed that exam, I think 2 days later we had pharmaceutical chemistry. So I had to be strong for myself. It was not easy, because I was trying to concentrate, and I'm remembering, you have you've carried over a course, so you have to register this course. I was like, so will I join the PACOS group? I'm like, no, God forbid. So they started to call PACOS group like Association of Carryover Students, Pharmaceutical Association of Carryover Students. Like, it's a group where information on courses that have been carried over is being shared, you understand? So I had to come to terms with reality that I am having a carryover. I cannot explain, not because I failed, but in life I realized that nobody really cares. People don't want the reason, people want outcome. And so at that point in time, I had to bear responsibility for that, that silly mistake. And trust me, I am my biggest critic. So I consider myself to the point that, I think I'm like, I think right now I've disappointed a lot of persons. And looking backward, there were times, during those times I was looking for admission. I ventured into tutorials. So I am passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about being a mentor and helping people grow. People can look at me and dare to be better than I am. And so I sat myself down after 300 level second semester results came out. I think I had 4 A's, 4 B's, and 1 carryover. And I sat down and told myself, my tutorial student thinks so highly of me, and I really sat down to know if I was what they hype, or if I was what their perception of me. And I realized that I wasn't living up to expectations, both at home and even over there in Benin. When you know you could do so much more, but the result is stunting you, the result on the board is making you feel like you're a fool. And I had to tell myself, okay, there are a lot of things I have to do, and one of the first things I had to do was, okay, maybe if this relationship is causing a lot of emotional disturbances that is making me not to concentrate, maybe I may have to, get rid of it. It took a lot to do. It wasn't easy, but I had to do that. And then 400 level kept the focus, and that was the turning point of the whole journey. I met some wonderful lecturers who tried to advise me, tried to help me during those points. So, and then there was also Idara. She was there to give me the emotional support, to take my mind off whatever happened in my 300 level. And so it was like that. So going to classes during those period for me, especially going for the carryover practical PME3 and I had to go for those practical classes. And when you sit with your junior colleagues and everybody's like, who is this guy? You're having those kind of gazes. I felt very ashamed of myself, but I would have loved to go and explain to everybody, I'm sitting here because I missed the exam. But nobody cares, really. You understand? Trust me, I would have loved to do that, but I couldn't. So I had to bear that cross. And it was 400 level second semester is arguably the toughest in pharmacy school. Some people say 500 level first semester. For me, it was 400 level second semester. The rigor, it has a way of draining your mind, your brain, affecting you mentally. And so while persons were writing 12 courses, I think I was writing 13 courses. Either 13 courses, either I was writing about 15 courses. That's damn crazy within a very short period of time. And I remember how we survived that semester. Second week of resumption, we were already going to 9 classes back to back every single day. Trust me, I thought I would go mad. It was like 400 level tested my limits, and I realized that. And for so many, it will be surprising to know that you guys have not even known the bounds of your limits. You guys can do a lot more. A lot more can be done. And it was not easy. People were breaking down mentally here and there. At the point I was fighting a mental battle because physically I was weak. I was feeling sick during exam period, but God helped me. I was telling myself I have to be fine. I just have to be fine. And when the result came out, it was, in fact, I don't know the word to use. I was humbled. There's a way there's a success you achieve. You just be humbled because you know that this can only be God. And I saw my results on the board. It was 13 A's, and then for Idara, who was scared, she had a lot of carryovers here and there. And she cleared all her carryovers, 15 courses. So that's crazy. It takes a lot of positive mindset to achieve that. And so for some of my classmates, they were so they were most of them were jubilant, but it was more of how did you do it? But it was prayer. Sowed seeds, prayed hard. My thoughts were just prayers during this period, because really you don't even have time to say you want to sit down and pray for 2-3 hours in front of the second semester. It's not possible. Though so very zealous Christians can still do that. But my thoughts, my heart, as I was moving, I was always praying, God help me to achieve this. And then 200 level was the game changer for me. At the end of 200 level, if you asked me or asked anybody in that class if I was going to be one of those who would emerge as the best graduate student, it was a very big no. My 400 level changed, and everything changed from there. I kept on trying to reciprocate my feat in 400 level, though I did it, but I think it was vital in earning me a spot as the best graduating student. So it was like that. So I really do not say weaknesses. Maybe I don't know. Everybody has weaknesses. Maybe mine is trying to cram a whole lot of details in pharmacology and other things. But I did active recall. Active recall strategy was a reading strategy I employed to help me remember things easily. And so if I'm reading a material, I always seek to know how much more of this material I can remember. So it's like testing the capacity of my brain, trying to teach my brain how to remember what I want it to remember for me. And it worked very well. It's a very slow way to read, but it's sure and consistent. So if you can find the way to always, if it's group discussions, writings, or trying to talk, or trying to explain, after reading, try to explain it in your own ways, it helps a lot. So my fear, I think at every level there was always fear. Fear of the unknown is my biggest fear. Fear of the unknown. I don't know what to expect. I've heard a lot of things, and just like I tell people, you should learn how to act as selectively permeable membrane. So even the basic thing, nature, life itself, everything that has life in it is not freely permeable. So I heard a lot of scary tales about pharmacy school, but I remember that these stories I've heard are subjective to people's personal experiences. And so somebody says you never can have an A in pharmacology because indeed the person never had an A in pharmacology doesn't mean people don't get an A. So that was how I tried to overcome those fears, especially from what I've heard. So I try to be positive. I try to face those fears. If I hear, this course is so hard because it interests me as a human being. I'm a very curious person, so I'm like, what is in this course? And I look at this one and say, yeah, this course is going to embarrass me. And the moment I know, I put in much more effort in that course, and it really helped me, moving forward. And God was, in fact, it was God. If you look at the story, you would agree with me that God was in my story. So apart from pharmacy school, most of everything I did was still within pharmacy anyway. Not exactly. The only thing I know I did, it was still again within the confines of pharmacy school, was to partake in CAPSAN's event, Catholic Pharmacy Students Association of Nigeria. And it was, for me, it wasn't part of the script. I never saw myself, I never even identified with them, but a lot of things after my 20 level, I just saw things happening, things I couldn't explain. And okay, not to even talk of assuming a leadership role. And I went on from being the prayer secretary to the president of the association, and I had to just bring out my inner self, come out of my shells, learn how to interact, because you as a president, you sit before lecturers and tell them your plan. You sit before students to preside over a meeting. So I learned all these things. It appeared to be an impossible feat, but I was a fast learner, and God helped me to learn. And yes, He helped me positively. He helped me to be better. I can stand and speak anywhere, because over time I took my leadership role in CAPSAN very seriously. So I learned it over time, how to speak, public speaking is not for everyone, yes. So in fact, it was a game changer for me. CAPSAN president, it affected me positively, how to relate with so many Catholic lecturers, and it really helped me. It really helped me. It really helped me. So yes, it had a positive impact on my life. Now, school politics, really. School politics is actually interesting for those who can play the game. But if you are in 100 level, I would not advise you to go into politics. You should be able to weigh yourself on a scale, identify your strengths and your weaknesses. So you cannot know if you'll be able to multitask pharmacy school with politics. There's only one way to know. So in 100 level, be focused, read your books, pass 100 level, right? So that when you see what you can do when you don't have so much distractions, you will now be able to have an idea of how you would perform if you add something as rigorous and as stressful as politics. So yeah, as interesting as politics may seem, I would not advise a fresher to just delve hurriedly into politics, or else you would hurriedly leave the faculty, and I do not wish that for anybody. Yeah, if I was to start this journey, what would I do differently? Everything that happened helped me grow, helped me to get mature. it's in fact as the relationship I had was also a learning process for me. So maybe I'll still have a lot to go through that relationship again. it made me wise, and it was an aspect of my life I had never explored all my life, and so it was a learning curve for me, steep learning curve. It wasn't easy. In fact, relationship on its own is a 10 credit load course. So yes, everything that happened, ended in praise. So why not? The only thing I would have loved to change is that I started taking opportunities very late. Started applying for scholarship when I was in 500-600 level. Started trying to come out of my shell, go for competitions, try essays, and all these things. These are things that brings you out, And sometimes I ask myself, if I had started all these things, maybe even research work. I started all of these things right from my 200-300 level. I think I would have gotten a lot more accolades than I have now. Yes. So yes, I would love to have gotten involved with other academic stuffs aside reading and passing exams. Scholarship opportunities, mentoring programs or mentorship programs. Yes, I would have loved to do. That's what I would have done differently. Start all these things on time. But aside that, no, I wouldn't have done anything differently. So do I think, personally, I do not think school is a scam anyway. It depends on what you call scam. And maybe sometimes when you look at the mentality of the mentality that drives this statement, it's because when you look at it from the financial aspect, you see people who just go learn a trade, they don't even get tertiary education, and in 5 years they are doing well. They have cars, probably have built houses, and then you spend 6 years in pharmacy school and you're not even sure of such a fortune, But a school has a way of shaping and improving your mindset, right? And it is not a scam as far as I am concerned. It is not a scam. Any institution that helps you to learn cannot be a scam. And so for those guys, for my Igbo brothers that does the boy and apprenticeship as more appropriately, they are also educated in their own way. So to learn a business idea is like saying you are going to school, only that you don't do the formal process of writing exams and passing, but it's a whole lot of learning process. So school is not entirely a scam. School is not a scam. So it is not a scam. It just depends on how you use what has been given to you. So like I was joking with my friends and my fellow inductees, and I was telling them, we all have been given the Pharm certificate. It's a 5 talents. It's equivalent to 5 talents. But what will come out of the 5 talents is dependent on the individual. So I wouldn't really say school. It's a scam. Yeah, so everyone out there, like I've said, whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. Yes, and there's something about growth. It's a process, right? Many persons may not see it, and because people can't see it doesn't mean your hustle is not legit. So, and that is why I tell people, when you have ideas, God put them into you. So if you're trying to express your idea to an outsider, the person might not be able to relate because he cannot see it as you are saying it. And so if you have drive to bring you have drive sufficient to bring your dreams and your ideas into reality, you should pursue it. You should pursue it with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. Whatever you should lay your hand, whatever you want to do, do it very well. There's a price, even if for everything. The terrorists we have in one of the most feared terrorists is because they took terrorism to another level, right? I'm not supposed to use this as an example, but I'm not trying to tell you that whatever you want to do it well. Be known for it. You understand? And just one more thing. I think I need youths and my friends to understand that in life, I think one of the most careless statements people make is you owe nobody anything. In other words, you don't owe anybody anything. It's a statement that is very insensitive. For me, one of the things that drives me is, for crying out loud, I owe my parents a lot. I owe people who have invested so much in me, either through their time, their admonitions, their prayers. I owe them a lot. The least I can give to them is a good life, right? So yes, you owe some people a lot. And so for my parents, they are my world, they are my everything. I owe them a lot. I owe them all the happiness in this world. So I think we need to change that mindset. I don't owe anybody anything. And that is why sometimes when I want to derail, when I think back and look at people who have shaped me, people who have mentored me, I do not want to let them down, because it's as though as they gave me talents that I am wasting or I am just burying. So when I think of these people, I see a reason not to derail. So please, I need us to understand that we owe this world our success stories, all of us. And so if we think like that, the sky will be our starting point. Thank you very much.